Hi everyone, welcome back. I wanted to show you something that I've been working on for a long time now, and I figured maybe we can do a little chit chat while I'm working on my jacket. I've had this particular jacket since I was in high school, which was, gosh, over 10 years ago. And there have been many different pins and patches on it as time goes on, but I figured today I would show you what I have on it and also maybe do a little ASMR sewing for you. So I'll start off with the front of the jacket. I should probably zip this up, that way you can see it a bit easier, if it'll go. Let's see, so here are the current patches and pins on it. Like this particular patch I made myself. It's the Japanese kanji for Hoshi, which as some of you know is a nickname of mine. And I have various little different pins on there. Some of them have sentimental meaning, some of them are just from, like this one, see I have a little R there, this was my grandmother's. And I have a little space pat, or a little space pin, back from the days of the Soviet space program. I have an Irish Easter lily with a phoenix, and a pin of Arashi, which is one of my favorite J-pop groups. And I have a little crown. I think this was my grandmother's or my great-grandmother's, so I wanted to put that on here. This is a pin from the Champions League final back in 2019 when Tottenham took on Liverpool. They lost sadly, but it was still a good experience. I have a little Sumo Club patch. I know I've said in a previous video, but I'm a big sumo fan. I have here a little, this actually was a bracelet, but I made it into a patch because I didn't like how the bracelet fit me. It says Original Gamer, back from the Nintendo, which is the first console I ever played. Here is a Mission Control space patch. I like this particular patch because it has various symbolisms in it. It has the symbols of the different space programs, like Mercury, Gemini, Apollo, Space Shuttle. So yeah, a lot of different meaning to that. When I was a kid, I said I was going to work for Mission Control. I didn't just want to be an astronaut, I wanted to be in Mission Control. So, a little tidbit for you. On this side, I have another Tottenham Hotspur pin. This is the old school crest. And I have the Blue Lantern patch on here. I got this to match my tattoo. This is a pin that I got off Etsy. It's celebrating Arashi's 20-year anniversary. Can you imagine a group being together for 20 years? It's crazy, but they've done it, bless them. I have a wrestling patch of the Shield, which is one of my favorite factions of recent memory. I also have a little pin here of Delirious, who is one of the big independent wrestlers that I really got into. And I have a pin from the Kingdom Hearts. This was the 2.8 remake. And I also have a little pin here, so like save the planet. I think it's important that we try to be more eco-conscious. Another wrestling pin. This was off Etsy. If I find the links for some of these, I'll link them down below. This is a picture of Hiromu Takahashi, which some of you may know my cat that I have, Daryl Takahashi. there's a story behind that, which I may explain in a later video. Moving on to the side here, I have a patch that says Deathmatch, which is one of my favorite types of wrestling. I accidentally washed this like an idiot, and so a lot of the writing came off, so I had to go over it in a white paint. On the side here, on this sleeve, this is the left sleeve. I have some flags here of 3 places that mean a lot to me. Obviously, I'm from America, kind of Japan, and the United Kingdom, which is where a lot of my ancestry comes from, is the UK. This patch was actually part of the previous back patch that I had on it, but I decided to take that off and do something different. So I actually made this into a sleeve patch. Again, it just says Hoshi on it. Moving over to this side, the back patch was also where this was from. Moving over here, I have the Year in Space patch of Scott Kelly and Taylor Kornienko. Can you imagine spending a full year in space? That's crazy, but they did it. Team Mystic from Pokemon Go. And this was also part of the back patch. It's the kanji for the number 15, which is my lucky number. On the right side, I have a pansexual flag, which I need to redo the paint on it. I also washed this like an idiot, so it messed up. I really have to be careful how I wash this, because otherwise things come off and it's just tricky. And this is the back. I just finished this recently. Again, patch on Etsy, Bringer of Chaos, and a phoenix, which is like the symbolism of this is very important to me. I think I'll probably eventually get a phoenix tattoo on me, besides the Moltres that I've already got on my shoulder. So there's a quick tour of the jacket. So I wanted to get another patch sewn onto the pocket here, and so I figured we would go ahead and do that. I got my little sewing bag here, my little tips and tricks. Got my scissors there. And the patch I'm actually going to sew on here, here it is a space patch of the Apollo Soyuz program. This was one of the first ever space programs that, you know, America and then the Soviet Union worked on together. You know, showing that, yes, 2 countries that had been enemies for the longest time were able to cooperate with one another. So I like that symbolism, plus, you know, just the thought of like 2 individual spacecraft. Here, I'll zoom in on this a little bit. I have the, you know, Apollo capsule and a Soyuz capsule combining together in space and just hoping that it would fit. So this is going to go right here. It's going to go right there on the jacket. So I figure we'll go ahead and chit chat while I work on that. I hope you've been doing well. Got some pins here. I'm just going to pin this to the jacket just to make it a little bit easier on myself. That way it doesn't slide around too much while I'm working on it. But no, I hope you've been doing well. Things have been crazy lately, as I'm sure everyone can relate to. Gotta be careful not to poke myself here, as I've done probably like 40 times. There we go. I'll pin one down here too. But I've been meaning to film this for a while now, but unfortunately things haven't been going too well for me. Well, I wouldn't say too well. That's not the right term. I think it's more just because things have been hectic for me. I'll say that much. So I want to make sure I get this straight here. Again, making sure not to poke myself. which I probably will poke myself at some point, and if I swear, I apologize, but I probably will end up swearing at some point. So yeah, that looks good. Oh yeah, that looks really good right there. Okay. So I've got my thread here. I'm trying to see which one's gonna look best. When I sew these, I try to use like a complementing or the exact color. That way it'll look a little more seamless. So I think I'm gonna use this one. This one's a very pale yellow. I think it's gonna match the gold in the outer part of the patch here. So let me grab my needle. See, this is probably going to be the boring part, but hey, ASMR is not exactly boring, it's calming. So if you're into calming things, then I hope you enjoy this one. So yeah, again, I hope everything's been going well with you. It's been, like I said, hectic here for me. Let me thread the bit here. There we go. You probably can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm putting that on there. Again, this may be, I either tend to use more than enough thread or not enough thread. Anybody who sews, does that happen to you too? Where you can never gauge how much thread to use, how much needle you use. God, you can tell it's early in the morning. Yeah, it's Saturday right now when I'm filming this. It's the Saturday before Labor Day. Yeah, it got really hot in here all of a sudden. I think it's because we turned the fans off. All right, so sewing on pockets is always a little bit difficult because you want to make sure you don't actually sew the pocket shut. But here we go. Make sure this thing gets in there. Okay. All right, we're good. Once I get a rhythm, it tends to be a bit easier. So I try to sew as close to the edge as I can. Sometimes it's a bit difficult though because the edges of a patch are really thick, and so it can be a bit harder to poke through it. I was going to say penetrate, but that's really kind of perverted almost, isn't it? I'm going to try not to be perverted here, guys. I apologize. But I kind of am a little bit. My husband and I will make jokes all the time. Good thing about using a counter is that I can use the pressure of it to push the needle up. I've been meaning to get a thimble or a finger protector because I've poked myself way too many times. Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a tough one. And I'm also trying to be careful. I don't want to get the thread tangled like I just did. Go figure, right? This is why you have to be a bit careful, why you have to be very meticulous when you sew something, because otherwise it will get knotted, and that is just too much sometimes. So there we go. All right, yeah, there we go. All right, we're good. There we go, we're getting there. I'm going to be checking on it constantly just to make sure that I'm not messing up the thread here. But yeah, how are things with you? You been doing okay? Yeah, things are hectic. I'm working from home now, so I haven't been to the office in, gosh, since March. I don't know if I'm ever going to be going back to the office, which is a bit sad because I do like working in an office. I like, seeing people, because when you work from home, it's harder to escape your job that way. It's harder to leave it behind. If you have a constant reminder of it, like your work equipment and things like that. Go ahead and remove that one. But no, if you work from home, you're surrounded by it more, especially because this all happened suddenly. The only place I could put my computer equipment was in my bedroom, which I really hate doing because now I have no room to move in there. I basically had to set up like 2 TV trays to make a desk. It's a bit sad to be honest, but I didn't have the space. So that's what I'm doing now. My previous job, I worked from home for, 7 years. And at first it's great because you get to stay in your pajamas all day, and you get to not have to worry about you don't have to worry about being late for work usually, you'd think, but there's a way, I'm sure. But no, I did that for 7 years, and it got to the point where I couldn't escape work. I couldn't, it was always there. I would never leave my house, and I'm starting to experience that again now. It's I don't leave my house anymore, really, and it's a bit sad because I always did like doing things on the weekends, even if it's not necessarily anything, major or anything huge. Even just, going for a drive somewhere just to get out of the house for a while. Now it's harder to do that with this COVID stuff. I mean, I guess you still could, but I don't know, it doesn't feel right, at least to me, just to go somewhere for no reason. Because I feel like you're not being productive. Though that's kind of what the weekends are for, really, to not be productive. At least that's what I always thought anyway, that it's not productive. On the weekend you're supposed to relax and mentally take a break so you can be ready for the week ahead. But I don't know, I think now that I'm an adult, it's I have to do chores on the weekends because I didn't want to do them during the week because when I get home when I leave work, I'm exhausted. Even though I'm sitting at a desk all day, it's mentally exhausting. I'm sure some of those who work in a call center or retail job can relate. And even if you don't, you can probably relate in some way. That it's rather difficult to want to do anything after talking to people all day, especially I'm a bit introverted. And talking to people is exhausting for me sometimes. Talking online is one thing. I could probably do that all day because I'm not, seeing someone. I'm not in their presence, but other times it's Like when I have to go see my husband's family or whatever the case may be, that can be exhausting after a couple hours. Not that I don't love my husband's family. I do love my husband's family. They're actually really great. I got lucky with that one. People always talk about the in-laws from hell, but I lucked out and I got really great in-laws. Okay, we're about halfway there now. What do you think? It's looking good so far? I'm staying on there and I haven't sewed the pocket shut, so wish me luck on that one. But now it's kind of getting to the harder part. I have to dig into the pocket to find where I need to attach it. I don't mind if it's not completely straight. You can see that it's not completely flush, but that's okay. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be on there. I just want to make sure it's not going to fall off. My husband's actually out of the house right now, so it's you and me and the dog. I have a little Shih Tzu. His name's Titus. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen pictures of him. He's just chilling out right by the door because my husband just left. He's not my dog, he was my mother's dog. Then when my mother passed away, I took him in because I know nobody would take him because he's a little asshole. He's cute though, but he's an asshole. He's very particular about who he likes. Any dog owners see that too, where your dog is normally very nice to you, but they're not nice to anyone else? That's my situation. Little dude barks at whomever may come by the door, but not everybody. Only if they ring the doorbell. So, oh, crap, this one's gonna be a hard one because it's right on the edge of that seam there. So I may have to move that slightly. I know this is a very unorthodox way of holding the needle, but whatever. You got to do what works for you, you know? Your way of doing things may not be the same way that someone else does things, and that's okay. You do what you have to do in your own special way, and there's nothing wrong with that. As long as it gets the job done and you're not hurting anybody. That's what matters. Actually, I think I may have the right amount of thread for this one. Maybe I need to film all the times I'm sewing something. That way it'll work out well. I have to make sure that it's flush when I bring the needle up, otherwise it's gonna bunch and not sit perfectly. But I've had this jacket, like I said, since high school, and there have been different patches on it, different pins. It's gone like through at least, I think, 4 different iterations of it. I don't know if that's the right word, but that's the word I'm going to use. If you hear my fridge in the background, I apologize. I'm in my kitchen. This is the best place I have as far as filming goes. Like, the light is better in here and I get more natural light from the outside. So most of my videos are probably going to be filmed in here. Just need to make sure I didn't punch that one. No, we're good. But yeah, we're just about done, about 3/4 of the way there. I hope you've enjoyed this. because I've enjoyed this. It's nice to be able to talk to someone and have it not be work related. That's always nice. Come on, get in there. But no, if you like this, I'll definitely film more videos like this. If you have any suggestions about things I can work on or things of that nature, just drop it in the comments below. I'm gonna laugh if I start, saying comments are below and then they end up changing it. Because that seems to happen like every time I film something. Or at least every time I've noticed videos and things. Oh shit. Sorry about that. I got a little bit of a bunch here. I gotta get it out. It got knotted. There we go. Ow. And there I go poking myself again. Yeah, I think I should have just about enough thread for this one. Ow! Dang it. Don't worry, I didn't pierce myself too much. If I start seeing blood, then I'll know that I might need to stop, but well, at least I can say that, blood, sweat went in this project. Because I'm sweating so bad right now. Thankfully, you're not able to see me, except for my hands. Get in there. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other patches or things that I want to add to this, and I probably will at some point, but I don't know what yet. I do have some other space patches that I can put on here, but I don't know. Okay, yeah, that one's good. Yeah, we're nearing the end. We're almost back to where we started. As most things in life, they go full circle. What came first, the phoenix or the flame? Circles have no beginnings. All right, about 1, 2 more here, and we should be good to go. Actually, yeah, I think just 1 more. And I like to put my finger through the thread, that way it's not as likely to catch. There we go. Yeah, I always use a little too much thread here, but I'd rather have too much than not enough, I suppose. Okay, now we just gotta tie this off. I like to use a surgeon's knot when I tie this off. For those who don't know, I'll do a quick little demonstration. You take your thread and you do 1 knot, and then you basically thread it through again. So it's not like a double knot, but it's a stronger knot. And I'll do maybe about 2 of those since I have the thread for it. And then I'm gonna cut it off right about maybe like 1 millimeter up. And there you have it. 1 new patch to the jacket, and I didn't sew the pocket together. Fantastic. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Again, any comments, feedback, whatever, just go ahead and leave it down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.